before we went on the break, we were talking about the importance of being accountable, even as the owner, even as the founder and the visionary of, your business.
Yeah. That's like I said, you got to play by the same rule. These are principles, it's laws that are built into business. People fail not because they plan to fail, but because they fail to plan. Okay? If you do not from day one, because you need to be able to say, I am spending more than that I'm receiving. And clearly, the rule is that if I continue to spend more that I'm receiving, the business is dwindling, is on its road to death. So what do I do to re-strategize to make sure that I am having a leftover that I'm in topping? Those things can only be possible when you have a set books from day one. Part of my own setup is never spend money that we do not earn. Okay? If we stop earning money, we'll stop spending money, because the business needs to continue to grow like real life. If you stop feeding a child, that child will emaciate. If you keep in over a period of time, you will have a kwashiorkor. The head will be big and the body will be thin.
Small.
Ultimately, it will have malnutrition and then died if it stays without food. The same way it is in business. But the only thing is that business is organic by its nature. So it has a perpetual life. But it's the same principle with our normal life. So an owner of a business must separate himself from the real business, both in terms of salary you pay yourself and making sure you are reinvesting into the business for it to continue to grow.
And I like this because, I'm a strong and firm believer of this statement. Do what you can with what you have where you are.
Sure.
So you get to find some entrepreneurs saying, they don't have enough. And some they may seek for loans and all of that and maybe ask for more than they actually require. How dangerous is it in starting up your business? You did mention that at the start of your business, you started off first and then your wife joined you, your wife's sister. But then some people may want to employ the marketing manager, the branding manager, trying to ensure that all of the departments are already filled up.
That's part of the thing. Any business to succeed, the business need to be agile. What do I mean by that? You don't need to have the business top heavy. You will kill it. It's like sending a young child a message where you do not want him to grow to become an adult. There are level of messages you send a young baby at certain age. It has to go with maturity. There are age where you can tell a child to go and get you a knife and he will use it to plug out his eyes. But there are time you can ask a child to go and get you a knife. He understood that knife is harmful and he will handle it carefully. So when you send your capital certain message at a certain level, you are in a process of killing it. Okay? So a setting up business, like I said, at a time, I was the managing and damaging director, I was the clearing and forwarding agent, I was the accountant general, I was the CEO, I was the, because I can't afford it. What you cannot afford, you cannot afford. But as capital come into the business, you must continue to give business what they require. And what do I mean by that is that I never had a condition in my home where I'm living without having it in my office, because I make money in the office and I stay more in the office. By 6 o'clock, I'm off to work. Latest by 7, 8, I'm in my office. And I don't get to leave till about 9. So, and I get home about 10 or 11. So then I spend less hour at home than in business. Therefore, my life is tied to my business. I give my business what they require. Part of the problem a lot of young people have is setting up business is people trying to have immediate gratification just to make yourself feel comfortable in the expense of the business you are running. Okay, what makes the difference as an entrepreneur is that your capital is part of your intelligence in reality, because the capital you acquire and retain in your business is the dynamic, the engine, the moving machine that makes the thing work. The idea you have, the plans you have are mechanics. But mechanics without dynamics is no good. You need the dynamics and mechanics to come together to get into motion. Okay, you can also have all the capital in the world. Your father can leave you wealth, but you don't have an idea, you don't have experience, you will not be able to grow that money. You continue to spend on it until it finish. Any money that you are not adding into will continue to deplete.
So basically, right, one has to be very prudent from the onset in their business.
Absolutely.
Or else you could possibly ruin your business with your own hands.
Absolutely. It's like the airplane taking off and landing are the two most dangerous part of flight. Okay? When it cruises in the air, the captain can leave the plane in autopilot and come out and have a chat with the passengers. But taking off, no chance is taken. You are asked to put on your seat belt. The captain have to check, dot every I. There are two people there. They repeat each them, even though you know them, but you because one small mistake can bring the crash of the whole thing. So when you are taking off in business, you need to dot the I's, especially with expenditure, to make sure you continue to retain earning in the business. As the business move off, and after that first area crisis of you are not even sure. Sometimes you just beat your chest and say, haven't I made mistake? Why did I expose myself to this? Oh my God, what is this that I brought upon myself? Many business people say this.
Did you have that? Did you have some of those moments as an early, entrepreneur?
Well, it wasn't like that to me, because having done apprenticeship, I've seen a lot. But if you have gone to school and come out to start a business, you will many times think you would have been better off to take a paycheck.
So would you rather advise that after, say, going for an MBA and all of that, you may want to consider an apprenticeship, which is maybe working in the sector where you want to operate?
I believe is it because at that point, somebody is taking a risk on your behalf. You are just learning from other people's mistake, and you still have guaranteed income. But that's when you begin to learn to start deploying yourself. So you take that job at that stage, at that level, be inquisitive and ask questions, and try not to run away from challenges. Be positive and continue to ask questions that expose you. Be willing to take difficult terrains of the job, because those things are things that are going to prepare you for the plans you have in future. So I advocate strongly about apprenticeship.
And finally, before I let you go, what were those very early sacrifices that when you look back, you say to yourself, I'm happy I made the sacrifices at the time when I made the sacrifice? Because we know the importance of timing in life.
A whole lot were done initially. I have to deprive myself, really deprive myself. Life is about the goals you set for yourself. That's why I said people go to university to learn economics. We don't learn it, but we practice it, because it's about opportunity cost. What do you think that is most important for you? What do you think that is going to give away for this? Even while I was in apprenticeship, I save money from my feeding money because I want to build capital. And that's why I'm also saying part of the real problem is upbringing of many people. Many of us adults today, we are not taught to save money even as a kid. Okay? So growing up, saving money is archaic to us. So you just think there's a tree where money is plucked. And some people, till at the age of 19, 20, Their father give them 10,000, 15,000. Their mother give them 100,000. So they never really think there is need to keep some reserve. They can always believe that the money will come. And when they get into business, they live the same kind of life and they get it wrong, especially where these people's children. So that's part of preparation. Start from day one, even as a kid, that you are built up over a time. So I made a lot of sacrifice, at growing up stage of my business, really deprived myself, I was not eloquent, flamboyant. I tried to take a backseat. I made money and sat on wealth without anybody knowing, because I wanted to build a capacity that can take me to fulfill my vision, building an institution.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And I'm sure that during our subsequent conversations, we'll definitely have specific counsel for the children of wealthy people, because we find that some of them are quite not as prudent in terms of managing their resources. But thank you so much for joining us on Business Insights with Irene.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.